Are we live? There we go. Now we are live. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hey, we just finished a group this month, and there was a distinct pattern that I want to share with you that's going to be very, very helpful for your journey, and that's going to be about the phases that you're going through, that you're literally quite here. We are all gathered here. For the most part, all of you are in the pizza and carrot method training. You're probably going to start to see more people from stress in different areas, but um, you're here because you have been up and down with weight loss in terms of this all or nothing behavior, and are wanting the lasting permanent results, consistency and weight loss, right? So there's distinct phases that you are in and you are going to grow through, and knowing what phase you're in is important in one particular way, in that when someone says something or when someone is in a different phase than you, uh, we will not resonate with it. We will not quite understand it. It'll feel like a disconnect. An old brain will say, maybe this isn't for me, right? When that's completely not true. It just means that it's not for you in this particular phase. So let me walk you through this and what I mean. So the first phase, which I'm not sure, but some of you may be here. We have to really work our way out of this phase in order to actually even have gotten here in the first place. But some of you may still have the remnants of the first phase, and this is the old phase of fighting and looking for another plan outside of yourself, more dieting, more solutions, more something outside of me to lose the weight, something more stuff, more plans, more diets, more books, more maybe there's magic pill mindset, maybe there's just the one thing, and there's a lot of fighting and a lot of resistance. Okay, so this is the first phase, and you really have to, in order to even be here in the pizza and carrot method training, the whole purpose of it is to bring the awareness to your mind that the whole journey is not just about the doing, rather there's a thinking aspect, which disintegrates a little bit of that resistance. The very first step you took disintegrated some of that resistance, knowing that there's more to your picture. So that first step is that fighting. That first phase is that fighting, and high resistance. The next phase that you will go and grow through is going to be acceptance. You can't skip acceptance. Nobody can skip acceptance. I've spent years and years and years of my life in acceptance, and in acceptance, you reduce your resistance, and there's something about being able to not intellectually understand, but to emotionally process and integrate that you are going through a process and a journey, and that there are outcomes to that process and journey, not goals to get to. That the journey is it, that the pathway is it. This is it. And because you're going through this life here and now, not spending so much time in the future or the past, that this is it. And so you become more grounded and more responsive and more joy filled in this moment, knowing that whether you eat the food that you think you should be eating for your weight loss or not, it doesn't bother you as much as the last phase, right? You would eat I'm going to be cliche, you would eat the bread in the last phase and beat yourself up, right? But you eat the bread now and you don't beat yourself up. Well, you don't beat yourself up as much. You may still feel the guilt, etc., and so on. This phase is, I want you to savor it and I want you to enjoy it, because it's highly likely that the majority of your life has not been spent in this phase, which is really, really important. So there is genuine, true purpose to this phase, and we have to go through it. You can't skip acceptance. You can't skip the acceptance phase. What you will find in the acceptance phase is great peace. Even though there's a lot of old brain stuff, there's still a lot of old brain talk, there's still a lot of old brain emotion, there's nothing wrong with that. But you settle in and you become more aware of old brain thoughts, old brain emotions, push through these phases. You can't dictate. Life dictates it for you. That goes more into what you believe about yourself and your world, but we'll save that for another day and another lesson. So first phase, you've got this fighting phase. Most of you are not here anymore, although you could be teetering on, you could be teetering into acceptance. You gotta settle in. You gotta, there's for many of us, I'm not saying everyone's in this space, but for many of us, there is an unacceptance of reality. And the truth is that you got yourself here. And it's also okay. Most of my life I've lived for in okayness that was in the future, that was not here and now, which kept me always striving for future. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Next phase is all about you genuinely, truly desire and want and crave the momentum of health and weight loss. And in this phase, you come with a lot of knowledge, right? In that first phase of all that fighting and years of dieting and learning about diets and what to do and all these rules that you accumulate, you don't do anything different. You've been through acceptance, but now you're ready for momentum. So all you know is all of the past stuff, all of the past ways that you were wanting to lose weight and get healthy and all this stuff. So you try and cram them into this phase, and you hit this familiar resistance that you had in the first phase. You have not gone backwards, okay? You are simply ready to take action, but in a different way with a new foundation. That's really important. That's where we start to bring in the principles of non-resistance or path of least resistance that you learned in your acceptance phase. And now, right, so in this middle phase, it was all about acceptance, and over here, now we combine acceptance with action, which you have never done before, okay? So if someone is over here in this third phase, their language, the way they talk, their desires, what they're doing for themselves, say in someone who's in acceptance, may to that person in acceptance sound like fighting, right? But it's not. They're kind of maneuvering their way through, feeling their way through this third phase to figure out, like, okay, how is this place new? In this third phase, you learn very quickly that you got to get your head in the long-term game, that there is no single one to your weight loss, and you start accepting that and applying that to your life, and you start understanding that you have this deep understanding that my whole and healthy self and permanent weight loss is multifaceted, and I bring all of those facets in, and I combine all of those things. That maybe I need to look at my hormones, maybe I need to look at my sleep patterns or my stress or my lifestyle, whatever that is, and it's accumulation of things, and I stack those stepping stones, and I partner those stepping stones with acceptance. This is the how to take action again without failing again piece of the program is those are those stepping stones. That's that third phase, right? Fourth phase is with momentum, you naturally get launched into the fourth phase, and that fourth phase is obviously permanent and sustainable weight loss in an entirely new way, which is all where we want to go. Okay, I wanted to draw to your attention these four phases because we each are in different mindsets, headspaces, and emotions in those different places, and they all serve that first phase of fighting, acceptance, momentum, and then the permanent weight loss. So feel free to put in the comments below. I'd love to know what phase you're in, what phase you're currently in. And just know this is, you've gathered here, this first phase of pizza and carrot method training. It was to help you out of the fighting and into acceptance, to know that, oh geez, this isn't just about my food. I got to start thinking right too. I can't just stop eating candy bars. I got to stop thinking candy bars, right? So that was to support you there. It was $7. And then from here, once you move into acceptance, right, there's clarity sessions here for you. Go to the guide section, watch the clarity sessions. Those are really amazing. I'm here about once a month with those clarity sessions. Probably this could be a shorty one for you. And then from there, it's any point you want to, you can pick up it's this Stepping Stone mini program, How to Start Again Without Failing Again. And it is, I'm adding right now as we speak, a foundations curriculum to it, where you will learn the basics of How to Start Again Without Failing Again stepping stones, teaches you how to do behavior change differently, and how to do stepping stones while you bring in the acceptance you're learning. And then on top of that, it's how to think differently. That's the foundations piece that I'm adding to that, and really define that new life circumstance, that new brain, old brain, new brain, really defining what that new brain is to step into it. So those pieces support you. And then group is $25 a month. I mean, that's nothing. So join us for group, and then I can help you through some of those things and just give you those 1 degree little shifts that are going to help you. So know that we're all in different phases. We're all in different phases. And so one person may be speaking from a particular phase, and it may or may not resonate with you, and that's okay. They're just in a different phase. We have a lot to learn together here from each other, and you all are here because you fully, not just in a mental clarity perspective, but you have fully integrated the knowing that this pathway, this journey, use your own words of least resistance, is so much more about who you have to become on this process. We have to cultivate not just long-term thinking, but practices in self-compassion and self-trust, and being able to like and respect what we see in the mirror when we look at ourselves. It's not just about choosing the apple over the candy bar. There are other pieces that have to move into alignment in order to be able to move forward. And we got to take the time to cultivate those, right? If you're still picking up the candy bars, but you're working on the self-compassion, you're still doing the work. So don't let old brain start beating you up because you think that you're not doing the work when you actually are, right? We have to take a very large responsibility for who's doing the talking upstairs. All right, you know that I'm always here for you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And just plop in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. What phase you're in, what you're working on right now, obviously, and how we can support you. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Bye, guys.